week in Mauritius. It is now January 31st. And for the past 3 or 4 days, I've had non-stop rain. There were certain moments that it would kind of clear up, but overall it's been really raining quite a lot. And I'm going to be starting hopefully very soon teaching at the Ministry of Education. I'll have a meeting today, so it's an exciting opportunity to be able to learn more about education and then to actually be able to meet teachers, because I've been really wanting to meet them for quite a while. But I haven't just been sitting waiting, because we shouldn't always just wait. We should be active with what we can impact or control. And I've taken the opportunity to take up some drumming classes. Here there's a drum that comes from India. It's called the tabla. And it's actually a very complicated instrument. It's not just hitting your hand on the hide and you get a sound. There's various hand formations that allow you to make a certain type of sound based on where you place your hand. I'm not taking it many times a week, but when I have time, I'm going. I've also started some singing classes. Of course, the dominant language is French and Creole, while English is a language of administrative purposes. But a sizable number of people here also speak languages from the Indian subcontinent, predominantly Hindi, or it could be Bhojpuri or Urdu. And I've been studying a little bit of Hindi. I've been hoping to learn some of the local songs or the traditional Indian singing, just to be able to use my energy and my time, and I really enjoy singing creatively. As you can see, I've found regular housing, which is really wonderful. I'm here on top of my roof, really enjoying it. It's pretty nice view. As you can see, there's some mountains. I don't have car access. However, the buses are pretty efficient here. I'd say the only slight challenge is if you're trying to get somewhere after 6 p.m., you will have some challenges because they stop running in certain areas. Maine, Port Louis, the capital, to cities that are near, maybe Corpip or Cascabon, you're going to have more access. Maybe 7:30, 8 if you're lucky. But overall, it's something that's pretty different from New York, because I'm used to transportation 24/7. Another difference? Yeah, Mauritius is definitely developed. There are certain elements that may be less developed, but I think that when you look at the different stages of development that, let's say, different countries are in Africa or in other countries in the world, there's a lot of buildings that are tall. And even just take a look here. You can look around. I wouldn't call them high rises, but I would definitely say that there's a nice degree of construction going on here. And that certainly raises the standard of living in terms of where people could live. They have an industry center called Ebe, which is where they have all the technology related activities and businesses and banks. And where have I been in these past couple of days since I haven't been teaching yet? I visited a very famous beach called Flick and Flack, where a lot of tourists love to go. I was invited with my tabla teacher and all of her students to go to an area in the east of the island called Flack, not Flick and Flack, Flack, and a beach called Palmar. I got to go on a boat, paragliding, that puts you on a parachute, and it was something I've never done. And it's good to do things that you've never done in the past. I saw some fish. They put a globe on top of my head, and a tube was connected to the globe so that I had oxygen, and I was able to breathe and watch fish all around me and put some bread out, and they all came and loved the bread. I've taken some yoga classes. I've gone hiking, not yet. I went to a local park called Sodnak, which is right over there. And I'm hoping to go hiking today. Well, not today, but Friday, which is tomorrow, in Le Mans. It's one of the most famous mountain ranges that you have in Mauritius. What's actually particularly interesting about it is tomorrow is going to be the day commemorating the abolition of slavery. And I'm actually just going to go hiking in Le Mans. However, Le Mans was a spot where they had cimarrones or megmaron. I'm not sure the other names for it. It was a spot where you had people who were runaway slaves who went to stay up there in the mountain range. And then what happened was, when the English took over Mauritius from the French, it was actually kind of a sly way that they did it. They first took over Port Louis when the English came, and they took over a light tower, a lighthouse. And then when all the French boats were coming, whether military or other types of boats, they told them to go around on the other side of the island, to the east side. And on the east side of the island, they were waiting to ambush the French. And that area on the east side is actually a sort of graveyard of many French boats that ended up sinking. So the English took over Mauritius, slavery was over, and they went to announce this information to all the population that was here, right? And then they went to those people who I was describing, who were the runaway slaves who didn't want to be under slavery, and to go tell them. And they were actually living up on Le Mans, which is a mountain range to the south. And when they were approaching, those individuals, the runaway slaves, thought that they were coming by these Europeans and that the Europeans were going to enslave them again. So, it's a very sad story. Those people who were up there ended up throwing themselves off of the mountain, Le Mans. And it's a really sad and important moment because it really shows the great pain and suffering that is slavery, of course, and how those individuals were willing to die for what they believed in, and rather than be re-enslaved, which in fact they weren't going to be re-enslaved. They were just being told that they were going to be freed. But that's going to be the commemoration on Friday of that really important day of when abolition of slavery happened. Because Mauritius is a multicultural, pluralistic society, it also happens to be the Chinese Lunar New Year. So there's going to be Lunar New Year events happening as well. Simultaneously, you see them in certain Chinese markets. You see Chinese goods being sold, and it's an example of a small island with a great amount of diversity. And I'm excited to share how that will be in Le Mans, and as well the Chinese Lunar New Year, which will be coming up in early February. I believe it's the 5th or the 6th, where they'll actually have the event. In Port Louis, people will be dancing and singing. I'm pretty lucky to be in Mauritius in the sense that New York, it is Antarctica weather, and here it's tropical. It does rain a lot, but you put on your sandals and you embrace the rain, and you get your raincoat and you get your umbrella, and you just take care of business. But here, so in New York, school would close because of the rain, right? However, here, school closes, well, actually the snow in New York. But here, school will close or businesses will close because of the rain. So it's actually a different way in which extreme weather impacts people's daily lives. But yesterday, for instance, there was no school because of the risk of flooding. And I've really enjoyed spending time at the Indira Gandhi Institute, which is an Indian cultural center that has dance, music, yoga, singing, and I've enjoyed just being there. They have a wonderful library and just talking with people, and I look forward to, when I'm not teaching, to be able to be there learning more from people and just integrating more and more. Thank you very much, and this is the English Language Fellow vlog. We're presently at January 31st, 2019. I have about 9 months and 1 week left. I'm really excited to begin so that I can hopefully start some creative projects with other students and teachers. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.